Hey, good morning guys. Welcome back to another episode of DJ's Workshop. So today we're going to be working on the FJ Cruiser and we're going to be putting a new exhaust on. Recently I noticed the exhaust was getting a little bit loud. I found that the tailpipe had a couple of holes in it, so took the tailpipe off, just did a downspout for now, and then I ordered up a new kit. So what I'm going to go with, I'm not doing anything too crazy, but I'm going to go with a stainless exhaust, and I'm going to go with a free flow muffler. So this one you can actually see right through. The kit came pretty much complete. It even comes with a nice stainless exhaust tip. Comes with clamps that you'll need. There was a couple of things I had to pick up though that it didn't come with. One was the exhaust gasket, okay, which goes here. And the other was the bolts and the springs that go here also when you put it together. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is take off the old exhaust, and the most difficult part of this whole operation is going to be getting these bolts out of the old exhaust, because obviously they're all rotted, they've been on there for a long time. So once we get those off, then it's going to pretty much be slapping together pretty easy. So let's get the truck in the shop here, get it up on the ramps, and crawl under there and see what we're up against. Alright, so stay tuned. Alright, so we're underneath the truck here, and you can see this is the flange that we're going to disconnect, and those are those spring bolts I was telling you about. So first thing we got to do is try to get those off of there, and then once we do, then we can remove the muffler. I already have the tailpipe off. You can see there's going to be a bunch of rubber hangers over there. Now a quick tip for you, when you want to release these off the hangers, get yourself some WD-40 silicone spray, something like that, and just spray those hangers up, let them soak for a few minutes. It's going to make it much easier to take the metal brackets out of them, and I'll show you that when we get to it. So first thing I want to do is, I think I'm going to cut this pipe first, just to drop the muffler and make this piece a little bit easier to work with. So let me do that first, and then we'll carry on. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this pipe, probably right here. Make it a little bit easier for me to work with here. So let's get this cut off. I'm going to use just a sawzall with a hacksaw blade. Okay, now we have the muffler disconnected, and we're going to work on this pipe here. So next thing I want to do is get this hanger off of here. So like I say, you're going to spray it with a little bit of lubricant, and then we'll just take a screwdriver or something and pry that off of there. Go. Okay, so get yourself a small screwdriver, stick it in there, just kind of work your way around there, break up any loose rust. A little vibration there, we'll have to tighten that shield up. Alright, so they do make a special tool to take these off to make it easier. It's kind of got like, it's a pair of pliers kind of thing, and it's got like two pieces that'll grab here and one that'll grab here, and it'll basically just push that through there. It's very nice and easy if you have that tool, but I mean, you're not really going to use it all that often. So if you do, you know, if you're a mechanic for a living and you do this a lot, then you may want to invest in one of those. But otherwise, you just basically take a screwdriver like this and just kind of pry it off. Like that. Okay, so that's how you get those off. Going on is a lot easier. You just spray it up and just kind of wiggle it and it'll slide on. All right, so the next issue is we got to get this all apart here. Now, this is pretty corroded. I don't know if those are going to come off or not. So I can try spraying those up. But I'm not having too much faith that that's going to work. I may try a little bit of heat on here to loosen it up. But let's get a wrench. See if we can get a bite on those bolts and see if we can get those loosened up. Alright, so I was able to get this loose, and I think the nut pretty much just rotted off and fell apart. So once I get these bolts out, I'm going to just kind of grind that down, and then I'm going to put a nut on this side, so I'll nut and bolt it, because there's pretty much nothing left there. So let me get these two bolts out, and then we'll get this pipe off. Alright, so I just got the two bolts out. Now that's disconnected. There is a gasket right here. Gonna get this off. Okay. So now that's good. Now we just got to get the muffler off the back, which is just going to be a matter of taking off a couple of more of these rubber hangers. So let me get those hangers off, and then we'll start on getting the new one installed. Now, looking at this old gasket, you know, some people might say, "Oh, well, can I use the old gasket?" I wouldn't recommend it so much. As you can see, this one is pretty much blown out. So glad we got a new one there. All right, so let's get these other hangers off and the muffler off, and then we'll start assembly. All right, so what I did was I took my cutting wheel and I just cut off these two brackets that were holding this on here. So now we get the muffler out. So pipes out, mufflers out, tailpipes out. I just got to get the rest of these little hanger pieces disassembled. Okay, so while we're under here, these shields sometimes will get loose and rattle. The holes around the nuts tend to rot out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this nut off. And I'm just going to stick a bigger washer in there. And that way it'll seal it better. Okay, now it's nice and solid again, no more rattle, because those little rattles will drive you crazy. Alright, so next thing I gotta do is clean up the nuts on the back side of this so I can put the new bolts in there. Alright, so we're going to take our new gasket. We're going to slip this on here. Okay, and then we have our pipe. Now we do have the one hanger that's going to go in here, so we'll slide this in here. And then we have the other hanger, which is going to go there. And I need to take that one apart. So hang on a sec. Alright, so when you put these back on, just give them a little spray. It's going to make them going on a lot easier. Okay. So we have this front hanger on. And the exhaust is going to go like that. And this hanger. Okay, so the hangers are on. That's easy enough. We got the new gasket in there. Okay. Now we have the bolts and the spring. And there's a washer also. So I'm going to put the washer and the spring. Like that. And then we'll put the nut on this side. And then we'll put the other one on this side. We'll start that one. So I'm not going to tighten these yet. We want to make sure that everything is on there and positioned the way it should be. Oops. Before we start tightening anything, in case we have to make any adjustments. Okay. All right, next thing, we'll get the muffler. All right, now normally mufflers will have a direction, which way they want to go on. This is a free flow muffler, and it looks pretty much the same both ways. So I don't believe that it's going to matter which way it goes on. Okay, that's going to slide on like that. And then we'll get the tailpipes on there. All right, so next thing we're going to take this pipe. And we'll get it up over the axle. Okay, once we get it up over the axle here, that'll fit in there. And then we have the two hangers here also. One there. One there. Okay. And last thing we're going to do is we'll put the tailpipe on this end. Alright, this is going to fit like that. Okay. Then I get that hanger on there. Alright, so we're pretty much in place now. And you can see as I wiggle it, there's nothing banging, so that's good, because you don't want to have anything hitting anywhere. So we're going to start in the front, and we'll put some clamps on, and we'll work our way back, and then we'll put the tailpipe on the back here. All right, let's go up to the front. All right, so the next step is we're going to get these nuts tightened up here. Okay, next step. Let me get these clamps on here. Okay, that's good and solid. All right, let's go back on the back end. Okay, so where it comes through the back, goes over the frame there, comes through here. There is a little heat shield above it, and then it'll come out like this. Okay, you just want to make sure you're not rubbing anywhere in here, so that it's going to cause noises and stuff when you're traveling down the road. So we got a little wiggle room there, and there's space in between so it's not hitting, so it's good. If you have to, you can tweak this like that. You can see how it hits, and then when you turn it, it goes away and you get a space in there. So just make sure you get it set up right so that you're not rubbing anywhere. Alright, let's get that clamped on there. Okay, so once we know that that's not going to rub on the frame, the other thing we want to do is make sure that we're clear on the tailpipe here, that it's not going to be rubbing on the body or anything, so it looks like we're clear there. Alright, so we'll get that last clamp on, and then we'll tighten this one down, and I think it should be pretty much done. So we'll just give it one final inspection, make sure nothing's rattling, and then we'll start it up, see how she sounds. Okay, so at this point we got everything all clamped up, everything looks good, nothing's rubbing. Give it the wiggle test, no noise. Alright. Okay, she sounds good. I don't hear any leaks. Nice and quiet. Like I said, it is a free flow muffler, so it may help it breathe a little bit better. It's not exactly a throaty muffler, which is okay. I don't really want a loud droney exhaust on it. So we got rid of the exhaust leaks. We got a nice stainless exhaust on here now that's going to last a long time. And I think we're good. All right, guys, if you're thinking about replacing your exhaust, that's pretty much what's involved. Worst part is getting that flange off. The bolts on this flange pipe, but once you get those off, then it's not bad from there. I was contemplating putting a dual exhaust on here, which is kind of cool, but it was pretty pricey, so I didn't want to spend too much money at this point, so I just figured I'd just go with this one for now. At this stage of the game, I'm more about reliability as opposed to performance. I mean, it's not a performance vehicle, it's just a great reliable vehicle, and that's the way I want to keep it. So all right, guys, so if you have any questions, drop a comment below. If you like the video, give a thumbs up, a like, a share, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.